first poem, The Gift of India, written by Sarojini Naidu. The Gift of India is poignant and patriotic poem by the Indian author, poetess Sarojini Naidu, which praises the sacrifices made by the Indian soldiers in World War I. Dealing with the theme of courage and selfless sacrifice, the Gift of India is also an ode to the unsung heroes, the children of Mother India, who laid their lives for others. The title of the poem explains, when the First World War broke out, Britain faced a serious problem. It had a shortage of soldiers to fight against Germany. Thus, it asked its colonies for help. The title here talks of the gift that India bestowed upon Britain during this critical juncture. The poet here takes on the voice of Mother India and talks about the greatest gift that she has bestowed upon the empire. The gift of her sons who have been martyred in faraway lands, fight an enemy with whom they have no immediate conflict. The poem consists of 24 lines, follows the rhyming scheme of AABBCC. The poem opens in first person point of view, where in India, in the figure of the motherland, asks rhetorical questions concerning the sacrifices of her brave sons. This is the host of what she has to say. Is there something that you want that I have ever held back? I have already given you rich gifts of clothing, food, and gold. I have already sent my more priceless treasures. The sons of my womb who have gone all around the world to march to the beating of drums and perish at the hands of enemies. Mother India makes a might claim in the very first stanza of the poem, and while it may seem like a claim heavily tinted by sentiments, one must not forget that it is a claim based on hard facts. The role of India in World War I has been largely ignored. By the fact remains that over 1 million Indian soldiers actively fought for British interests alongside Allied forces. The rich gifts of remnant or grain or gold isn't a mere poetic invention either. British India supplied around, and the fact that India helped the British despite being under the colonial rule is a much underappreciated fact. A literary technique is used to emphasize the extent of help provided to the British government. This technique of repeating successive conjunctions in a line is known as polyscendent tone. The personification of India as mother is made explicit when she says that her sons have been torn from her breast, and she has eldered her children for grief-stricken womb to the horrors of the battlefield. Her claim of having flung her priceless treasures to the east and western front, the image of a mother who gives away the sons of her womb to the service of the Allied forces and source of death and ruin, explains the sense of duty as that of her brave sons. This image is extended in the second stanza, which brings to full view the horrors of war. Interestingly, the drum beats of the last line of the first stanza lead is to the site of the war in the second stanza is similar to the manner in which the war cry and the drum beats herald the actual war. Three similes are used to describe the soldiers. They are linked to poles, shells, and blossoms. The choice of such comparison highlights the qualities of her sons as she sees it. They are precious, fragile, and innocent to her maternal self, like pearls, sails, and blossoms. The reference of Persia, Egypt, and Flanders and France highlights that these were the major theaters of where Indian soldiers fought against Ottoman Empire Persian waves in North Africa and the Western Front. Words like gathered, scattered, and striven capture the recklessness and the negligence with which the bodies of the dead soldiers have been treated. The violence of war and the horrors of it is captured by a powerful visual imagery toward the end of the stanza. With the motherland bemoans how the soldiers have become like blossoms, ruthlessly shared and cut down on the blood-soaked meadows of France and Flanders. Thank you.